In Empires, you play as a colonial European nation. The goal of the game is to gain supporters and avoid revolts. Your total support equals your supporters minus your revolts. At the end of the game, the player with the highest total support wins. Setup. Create the supply by stacking the people figures, goods, territories, bonds, support cards, and gold coins by type in the center of the play area. Place the market board in the center of the play area. If you have more than 3 players, add the market extension. Find the space marked with your player count in the upper right-hand corner. Cover any spaces to the left with bonds. Place the war tiles in the center of the play area. Each war tile is marked with a minimum player count. Return unavailable war tiles to the box. Shuffle the remaining war tiles. Deal out 1 for each player in a row, active side up. Then deal 3 more war tiles to the right end of the row, active side down. Return the last war tile to the box. Give each player a set of selection cards and a player aid. Drafting nations. Shuffle the nation tiles and deal out 1 more than the number of players in the center of the play area. Place the national flag token beside each nation tile. Return any unused nation tiles and national flags to the box. Each nation tile has a set of starting resources, a national power, and a unique number. Place the selection card with the number of the nation you want to claim face down in front of you. When everyone is ready, turn the cards face up. If you selected a nation that no one else selected, take the nation tile and national flag token. If multiple players try to claim the same nation, place a revolt card beside its nation tile. These players participate in another round of drafting. When a player takes a nation tile, they also take any revolt cards placed beside it. Repeat this process until every player has a nation tile. Then give the diplomacy tile to the player with the lowest numbered nation. After drafting is complete, give each player 1 supporter card, 1 revolt card, and the assets listed on their nation tile. Nation drafting example. Albert, Beatrice, Clara, and David are drafting nations. Each places a selection card face down in front of them. Then everyone reveals their card. Albert wanted France, so he placed his 6 card. No one else placed a 6 card, so Albert claims France. Clara wanted Austria, so she placed her 9 card. No one else placed a 9 card, so Clara claims Austria. Beatrice and David both wanted Russia. They both placed a 1 card, so revolt is placed by the Russia tile. Since Beatrice and David don't have a nation yet, they both select again. Beatrice still wanted Russia, so she placed her 1 card again. Since no one else played a 1 card, Beatrice claims Russia and takes the revolt card. David wanted Spain, so he placed his 5 card. Since no one else placed a 5 card, David claims Spain. Beatrice has the lowest numbered nation, so she takes the diplomacy token. Nation drafting is complete, so each player takes 1 supporter card, 1 revolt card, and the assets listed on their nation tile. Institutions. During the game, players keep their assets organized in stacks called institutions. There are 3 types of institutions: banks, luxuries, and industries. Each bank consists of 1 gold on top of 1 bond. Each luxury consists of 1 people figure on top of 1 good. Each industry consists of 1 people figure on top of 1 territory. First, build as many banks as you can. Next, build as many luxuries as you can. With your remaining assets, build as many industries as you can. Nation powers. Players can activate the national power on their nation tile once each round. Each nation tile describes when its national power can be used and the effect it has when it is used. Trading. At any time during the game, players can freely trade any of their assets, including gold, goods, territories, people figures, bonds, nation tiles, selection cards, and the diplomacy tile. Rounds. The game takes place over 5 rounds. Rounds generally have 3 phases: develop, market, and war. During the develop phase, players activate their institutions. First, make sure that your institutions are built correctly. Start by building as many banks as you can. Next, build as many luxuries as you can. With your remaining assets, build as many industries as you can. People figures that are not in an industry or luxury are unemployed. If you have more than 1 unemployed people figures, take 1 revolt card from the supply. Bonds that are not in a bank are unpaid. Take 1 revolt card from the supply for each of your unpaid bonds. For each of your banks, pay 1 gold to the supply. For each of your luxuries, pay 1 good to the supply and take 1 supporter card from the supply. For each of your industries, take 1 good from the supply. Then rebuild your institutions. First, build as many banks as you can. Then, build as many luxuries as you can. With your remaining assets, build as many industries as you can. Develop phase example. Carl is in the develop phase. He has 3 gold and 2 bonds, so he must build 2 banks. He has 4 people figures and 3 goods, so he must build 3 luxuries. He has 1 remaining people figure and 3 territories, so he must build 1 industry. Since he has 2 banks, he pays 2 gold to the supply. Since he has 3 luxuries, he pays 3 goods and takes 3 supporters. Since he has 1 industry, he takes 1 good. Then Carl rebuilds his institutions. He has 1 gold and 2 bonds, so he must build 1 bank. He has 4 people figures and 1 good, so he must build 1 luxury. He has 3 remaining people figures and 3 territories, so he must build 3 industries. During the market phase, players sell their goods for gold. The price of goods depends on the total amount of goods being sold. First, each player decides how many goods they want to sell and places the corresponding selection card face down. Then all players simultaneously reveal their selection card. All of the goods being sold are delivered to the market. Each good is placed on a different port, starting with the highest available number and continuing in descending order. The price of goods is equal to the number on the highest uncovered port. For each good you sold, take the price in gold. Then return all of the goods in the market to the supply. Market phase example. Ahmad, Hiroko, and Megan are in the market phase. Each places a selection card face down. Then everyone reveals their card. Megan decided to sell 3 goods. Ahmad decided to sell 1 good, and Hiroko decided to sell 0 goods. All players deliver their goods to the market, covering up the 4 highest available ports. So the price of goods is 2. Megan sold 3 goods, so she takes 6 gold from the supply. Ahmad sold 1 good, so he takes 2 gold from the supply. Hiroko sold 0 goods, so she takes 0 gold from the supply. Then all the goods in the market are returned to the supply. If Hiroko had instead sold 2 goods, then 2 additional goods would have been delivered to the market, so the price would have been 0, and no one would have taken any gold from the supply. During the war phase, players raise armies to win wars and acquire assets. First, each player decides how many armies to raise and places the corresponding selection card face down. Then everyone simultaneously reveals their selection card. Each player pays 1 gold for each army they raised. If one player raised fewer armies than every other player, they take the diplomacy token and become the new diplomat. If there is a tie for the fewest armies, the current diplomat decides which of the tied players gets the diplomacy token. The current diplomat may not select themselves as the new diplomat. In order from most armies to least armies, each player who raised at least 1 army wins a war by placing their flag token on an active war that no one else has won yet this round. When you win a war, take the assets listed on the war tile from the supply. If multiple players raise the same number of armies, the diplomat decides the order in which the tied players select wars. Players who raised 0 armies do not win any war, but may become the diplomat. At the end of the war phase, remove the leftmost war tile and put it back in the box. Flip the next inactive war tile so that it is active side up. War phase example. Ada, Carl, Isaac, and Renee are in the war phase. Each places a selection card face down. Then everyone reveals their card. Ada decided to raise 4 armies, so she placed her 4 card and pays 4 gold. Carl also decided to raise 4 armies, so he placed his 4 card and pays 4 gold. Isaac decided to raise 6 armies, so he placed his 6 card and pays 6 gold. Renee decided to raise 0 armies, so she placed her 0 card and pays 0 gold. Since Renee raised fewer armies than everyone else, she takes the diplomacy token. Since Isaac raised the most armies, he goes first. He places his flag token on any active war tile and takes the listed assets. Ada and Carl are tied at 4 armies, so Renee, as the diplomat, gets to decide which of them goes first. After some negotiation, Renee agrees to choose Carl if he will give her 1 territory. Carl agrees and gives her a territory, so Renee lets Carl go first. Carl places his flag token on any unclaimed active war tile and takes the listed assets from the supply. Then Ada places her flag token on any unclaimed war tile and takes the listed assets from the supply. Renee did not raise any armies, so she does not win a war this round. The leftmost war tile is returned to the box, and the next inactive war tile is flipped active side up. Ending the game. At the end of the 4th round, all of the war tiles will be active, marking the final full round of the game. At the end of the development phase in the 5th round, the game immediately ends. Your total support equals your supporters minus your revolts. The player with the most total support wins.